Well, you said when you were 14, one of your best friends got stabbed by a rival gang.
Yeah.
Can you talk about the situation?
So how old are you in ninth grade? Is it 14?
14, yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, when we first started high school, it started getting more into that. And we had got into a situation with some fellas and yeah, just some dude came back and stabbed one of my main homies at the time, almost killed him, had to airlift him and everything. And I think that starts like it gets a little more deeper than fun and games after that. You know, either gonna do one thing, it's either gonna scare you off or spark some anger. And in me, it sparked like an anger, you know what I'm saying? It sparked like revenge and all that type of shit. So it either steer you away from the lifestyle. Me, I think I jumped in more deeper at the time as a kid, you know what I'm saying, mentally.
Well, your parents, were they involved in the streets at all?
Nah, so that's the thing too, man. Like that shit will break my mom's heart. But also, you know, I don't know how old are you, bro?
51.
So at that time, a lot of people were outside. It's not like it is now. People ain't inside on the video game. Everyone was outside. So for a lot of the years, moms and pops was working all the time. Mom's had a lot of health issues. She's in the house. We're outside. I'm just running with my homies. They're kind of oblivious to things that are going on until it started like getting real and things started happening. Of course, it broke mom's heart. You know what I mean? You don't want to see your kid going through that shit. You know what I mean? So yeah, it started affecting home a little bit, but it's just what happens, you know?
Okay, so your friend gets stabbed, and is that the moment where you kind of get more deeper into it?
It was a little bit before that, but I think it started generating like a more hate towards, you know, like I said, you go one way or the other, and that time it started being more like it's time to get back, you know what I mean? And yeah, I would say just Antioch's a very small town, so you're going to school, you could bump into these dudes here, you could bump into them there, and it was just a lot of back and forth. And I think if you're built like, you know, if it's something's in you that you don't want to back down, you don't want to be that dude, and you got anger, you want to revenge for your friend, it's kind of naturally you start acting out that way. You know what I'm saying?
Were you getting arrested at all during this time?
Little minor infractions. I didn't get arrested until I was later teen. I got like an assault with a deadly weapon charge, but luckily, you know, I overcame that. So that didn't affect me as an adult. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But little minor stuff, nothing crazy. You know what I mean?
Okay. The assault with a deadly weapon. How old were you at the time?
17.
Okay. Can you talk about that situation?
Yeah, just and the only reason I remembered that because I just did my live scan. I started seeing I just got my record expunged, so I went through all my process and I seen the assault with a deadly weapon. It was just a fight, man, and supposedly, allegedly, you know, I hit somebody with something and he went down, but dude, you know, they didn't have enough. Dude didn't press charges. They didn't have enough, so after a little juvenile time, they let me out. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, was that a thing during that time where no one told, no one cooperated, everyone kept their mouth shut?
I'm sure people told, but some people didn't, you know?
Okay.
I think it was more of a honorable code thing to keep a gangster back then than it is now. You know what I mean?
Well, you said there's a lot of drug dealing around. You see the dope boys getting money.
Yeah.
And that really intrigued you.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. And then right around that time, age 17, your mom kicked you out of the house?
Yeah, so she had she had caught me literally red-handed just slanging, man, you know, and like I said, not to throw my family under the bus, man. I come from, you know, mom's is a real solid woman, sweet lady, pops was a hard worker, but we didn't have much, you know, we didn't have nothing that we wanted, and I would see, you know, I was seeing the dope boys get money. You know, these dudes got nice stuff. They got nice cars. They got things I wanted to have. And I got in a situation where I was able to get some work in with them, and I started doing my thing. And naturally, I started having nice things. You know, bought my first car. It was an 80 Firebird. You know what I mean? Pulled up in a nice car. Started having nicer things. Excuse me. And then, yeah, of course, it raised the eyebrow. You know, I tried to, hey, I'm slanging stereo equipment. I tried to give her excuses, and yeah, she caught me red-handed, man. She went through my window. Back then, we used to have these little blinds that were kind of metal, and we used to always be tripping, looking out my window, so there was a little crack. So I came home to bust a knock one day, and she went through my window. She seen me weighing up, sure enough, and that broke her heart. Like I said, she's an old-fashioned Mexican lady, so she ain't from that. That broke her heart, and she's just like, I'm not having that in my house. Boom. Luckily, I had friends that had a place that they had like their own little Section 8 housing. They let me have a room. I was still going to school too, mind you. I was still in high school. So I would literally do my thing, chill with the homies, get my money, and go to school.
So this was what, cocaine?
It was. That's what I got charged with initially, with a little cocaine, but it was a lot of crystal meth back then, bro. Out there.
Crystal meth.
A lot of crystal meth. Yeah.
Okay, I thought that was more of like a white boy kind of drug.
There's a lot of people smoking everywhere, man. People tweaking everywhere, and this was really too. It was actually like. It was actually just crank back then. And then, and I don't know, like I said, I'm not in the dope game like that, so I don't know. But it was like crank, and then it went to crystal meth. So it was, there's two different things. I don't know, but there was like the transfer.
I mean, when you talk about the drug game,
Yeah.
when you're dealing with addicts and you're also dealing with other drug dealers, it's a dirty game.
For sure.
There's a lot of rip-offs.
Yeah.
There's a lot of snitching.
Yeah.
There's a lot
I was a kid though. I wasn't on that level. Like there was
but-
kingpin shit. I was just hustling on the street, you know
I
what
mean, but were you ever caught in a situation where, you know, you got robbed or you know what I'm saying, or a dope fiend try to, you know,
Nah.
you know, when you talk about these
I
are
know.
highly addictive
No, for
drugs,
sure.
and
And it's
people will
had-
do anything for them. You know what I'm saying?
It's happened a lot, you know. People were getting laid down for their work, you know. If you're getting money around the wrong people, you know,
Right.
it's happened a lot around. To me, fortunately, it's never happened
At all?
No.
Okay, so I mean, you got lucky.
Yeah, and I think I've always felt I knew how to move. I was never. Yeah, maybe it could be luck. It could be anything.
It's a combination.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
you know, you can't control this. You don't know who's working with the feds. You
True
know what I'm
that, true.
saying?
But like
You
I said,
don't know.
I never climbed up that far. So I wasn't in the game that long. Like I didn't get that deep into the dope game to find out. And the people that did, that were moving out there, they all got wrapped up in the feds, and a big old raid came. So yeah.
I mean, one of the things I've always found unique when it comes to Mexicans who are gang related, and I remember me and Lazy Boy, we talked about this, and he confirmed it as well, is that a lot of times you have this mentality where, especially as kids, they aspire to do life in prison and end up in Pelican Bay and be a shot caller,
Yeah.
be a gang boss in Pelican Bay doing 23-hour lockdown.
Yeah.
And that's an aspiration, which to me always seemed really crazy.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I'm talking about,
Yeah,
though?
yeah, most definitely.
Did you ever go through that yourself?
I might have, because one is when you're young, you're easily influenced.
Yeah.
So it depends who you're looking up to. If you got an individual that came out doing a lot of time, you know, people will look at these men like gods. You know what I'm saying? Like, bro did a lot of time. Hey, he's so and so. So you would see the respect that these people will get. And of course, as a kid, that you'd gravitate towards a person. Either one, like you said, you'd be scared of them, or two, you'd be like, man, just the respect factor these men will get. No different from, I guess, an athlete that you want to be like, just in the hood. People look up to these hood stars, so I think the respect that comes with that is what people look up to more than actually doing time. Because I don't know who wants to sit in a box for 23 hours a day. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? But
What was the longest time you ever did?
months I didn't do.
So just a few months?
Yeah, I've been honestly, bro. I've been blessed, man. Like blessed. You know what I
Right.
mean? So yeah. And that's something that I'm actually proud of. Like people will look at that in our culture as a weakness. Like, oh, you ain't did time. I'm like, shit, I'm proud of that, man. Like there's some of it's luck, some of it's being smooth and divine intervention, blessed, you know, but I look at it as a blessing, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I remember when I got locked up here and there over suspended licenses and shit. It was, like I remember my first time being in a cell, I was like, who would aspire to this? Like,
Yeah.
This is the worst. You know, I remember me and Papoose had a conversation about this where he was like, the first time he went to Rikers, he said, the only thing worse than this is death.
Yeah.
This is like one step above being dead.
Yeah.
And that's what changed his mentality.
Yeah.
So I never understood guys who always are going back in and doing these long bids.
Because it's going to jail is easy, man. It's easy to go get locked up. And I do remember sitting in my cell in county, and I was looking at some time, and I remember like, man, this ain't it. But I was preparing myself mentally, like, hey, this is what I got to do as part of the game. But yeah, it's like I start thinking of, because I've always been goal orientated. Even when I was running around young, I was still always had a head on my shoulders. You know what I mean? And I was like, man, I'm gonna miss out doing this. I want to do that. You know, so of course it's not a good feeling. No one, you know, some people find it exciting because maybe they want to come out and be that dude. You know what I'm saying? And nothing against it. Like I said, that's the life they want to choose. Hey, my hat's off to you. For me, that's something I didn't want to be one of them dudes. So I've always been a little bit more strategic. I've always been a little extra paranoid, I guess you could say. I'm still that way. Sometimes
Yeah.
people are like, man, you're tripping too much. I said, but I move very, very strategic. You know what I'm saying? Everything is calculated for me to the T for certain things, because it takes one time to slip up on some dumb shit, especially even just hanging around the wrong person. This person could do something stupid and wrap all of us up. You know what I mean? So I'm very strategic on who I even allow around me and stuff like that, you know?
I mean, when you did the few months, was that over the assault with a deadly weapon charge or something else?
I had which my stuff just got expunged for, was a assault weapons charge and possession, stuff like that. So
Okay. When you got locked up for those few months, now you're thrown into county jail,
yeah,
right?
Yeah,
And you have all the different gangs all in one place.
yeah.
Did you have any problems coming in?
Nah, hell no, nah. I mean, then you just go in, you deal with your people, and you're good, you know?
So they actually segregate people that are affiliated with each other?
Yeah.
I mean, during that time, did you get involved in anything? I mean, any fights? Anything else like that? Or?
Nah, I wasn't.
So it was all
smooth
chill for
sailing.
you?
Yeah,
Okay.
Cocoa County was kind of cool at the time. You know, it wasn't too bad. And then
Got it.
I went to West County, so that was kind of chill. It wasn't too bad over there.